Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the Coaches and Coxswains meeting for the National Invitational Rowing Championship, which is brought to you by the, Intercollegiate Rowing Association on Lake Quinsigamond on Sunday, May 11th. This regatta is held out of Regatta Point, located at 10 North Lake Ave, Worcester, Mass. My name is Thad Gamula. I am with the Quinsigamond Rowing Association, and I will be assisting and presenting the material tonight. I am joined by Laura Kunkemuller, the Intercollegiate Rowing Association Commissioner, Patrick Diggins, the Regatta Director, Lissa Bain, the Chief Referee, Linda Murray with the Intercollegiate Rowing Association, and several of the officials for this regatta. At this point, I would like to introduce Patrick Diggins, the Regatta Director, to say a few words. Patrick?
Thanks, Thad. All I want to say is welcome, and we're looking forward to a great weekend of racing. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Patrick. Okay, attendance. We're sticking with the same system as last year for attendance. If you could please text your school code to 22333 at this time to log attendance. So for example, if you are with Connecticut College, you would text the code 71409 to 22333. Messaging rates may apply. Schools are listed alphabetically on this slide. The second option available tonight is to scan the QR code in the top left corner. Scan it, you follow the instructions it gives you, and it's very basic, very simple. So one of two, both will work, both will log attendance. Yeah. If for some reason you do not see your name, your school name on this list, please email me at thadgamula@qra.org so I can log your attendance manually. While we wait for attendance to come in, I would like to point out the Q&A feature on this platform. As many of you may have noticed, microphone and chat have been turned off for all except for the presenters here. We ask if you do have a question during the presentation, please enter it in the Q&A function, which can be found at the bottom right of your screen. Most of you will have the 9 dots as depicted on the screen now. Some of you, if it's an older form, may have a triangle, square, and circle icon. If you click on that, it will open the meeting tools and you can find the Q&A tab there. Raising hands, all of that won't work. We'll see it. We won't be able to call on you. But please don't be afraid to enter through the question and answer function. While we give it a couple more minutes for attendance, I would like to pass it off to Linda Murray to cover any lingering compliance issues. Linda?
Hey everyone, we're actually doing pretty well, but this compliance is important to do so that you can practice and more importantly, so that you can race. And we've got almost everyone is compliant. You should have gotten an email from me today if you're not. And the only schools we have left, and I'm sorry for the public shaming, well, not really, but Clark, Ithaca College, Mass Maritime, and University of Rochester women. The rest of the schools, Bates, Colby, Connecticut College, Hamilton, Iona, MIT, Mount Holyoke, Skidmore, Smith, Trinity, Tufts, UNH, Vassar, Wellesley, Wesleyan, Williams, and University of Rochester men's rowing are all compliant. However, if you make a lineup change, scratch a boat, something like that, it could put you out of compliance. So please double check your athletes. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Linda. I think that's plenty of time for attendance. I'm not going to linger on this any longer. Okay, let's talk about the practice day and the traffic patterns. So the practice day for the regatta is Saturday, May 10th, and there are 2 sessions. The first is from 9 a.m. to 12:15 p.m., and the second is 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Please note that the gates to Regatta Point officially open for trailers at 9 a.m. and will close and be locked at 7 p.m. Please do not arrive early. You will be asked to drive around until the gates open. The hospital has specifically asked us this year to not interfere with their traffic on their property by having trailers parked / staged along North Road. The launch docks will officially close at 11:30 a.m. and 4:45 p.m. respectively. Please plan accordingly. We have to stay firm with those times because there is racing in between. So please, once again, the launch docks will close at 11:30 and 4:45 p.m. respectively. The traffic pattern on practice day, for those of you that have not been to Lake Quinsigamond before, our lane setup is not conventional. On the lake, we have 7 fully buoyed lanes numbered 0 through 6. Lane 0 is closest to the Worcester shore, so those of you launching from Regatta Point are on the Worcester shore. On practice day, when you launch from Regatta Point on the Worcester shore, you must travel north directly to the start. You may travel north outside of the course in lane 0 or in lane 1. Lane 2 is a dead lane. There should be no boat travel in lane 2. There will be several large wakeless marshalling launches in that lane. Please do not at any point enter lane 2. This means no crossing of the course at any point as well. Once again, to match your course configuration, lane 2 is the 3rd fully buoyed lane from the Worcester shore. 0, 1, 2. If you are launching from Donahue, you must travel outside the course past the finish line before you turn to your starboard, row completely across the course, and then you may join the other crews launching from Regatta Point and travel north, once again, outside of the course in lane 0 or in lane 1. Once again, not lane 2. When traveling to the start on practice day, please be aware there is no pressure. Please note the shallow area marked on this map. It's a little yellow polygon. It's towards the top of the picture. We call it the pump house. There is a small brick building right there. It's located directly across from Donahue. If you get too close on practice or on race day, you risk losing your skeg or damaging your boat. It's never a good idea to hug the shore anywhere past the 1,000-meter mark when traveling north. Please avoid it at all costs. After the pump house, you'll see the 290 bridge. It's a large structure. It's got red beams. This is where you're going to enter the warm-up cove, right above the start. You row through the small span on the Worcester shore, which is on the Regatta Point side. You can then make your turn and practice south in lanes 3 through 6. Please note, lanes 3 and 4 are for pieces less than 1,000 meters, and 5 and 6 are for pieces greater than 1,000 meters. Once again, at no point should you enter lane 2. Remember, we have lane 0, so lane 2 is the 3rd fully buoyed lane. If you're not sick of me saying that, you will be by the end of the night. After practice, you can take as many laps as you want, do as much practice as you want. Once again, adhere to the ending times. But after you've done your practice, you will land at the same dock you launched from. If you are returning to Donahue, please make sure you go all the way up into the start and come down along the Shrewsbury shore outside of the course. Please remember, once again, course closes at 11:30 a.m. and 4:45 p.m. respectively. Do not try to take another lap if it is close to closure time. You will be asked to get off the course. And lastly, at no point at the bottom left of this picture, you see the Route 9 bridge. At no point should you go through that Route 9 bridge. It's a large blue arch bridge. You can't miss it. It's right at the finish line. Do not go south of that bridge. We don't have the permits or the police patrolling down there. Please stay north of the Route 9 bridge. Okay, for race day traffic, so just to dial back, before you launch on race day, bow numbers will be provided for you. Please make sure you pick them up as you launch and be sure to return them when you land. For race day, the traffic pattern is very similar to the practice day. If you are launching from Regatta Point, you proceed north outside the buoy lane along Worcester shore. The main difference here is you are not traveling within a lane. You cannot row to the start in any lane on race day. We do have several 7-boat races, so please keep clear of the buoy lines. Same thing, avoid the pump house shallows up at the top of the screen here. If you are launching from DRC, you have 2 options. You can go directly across, make sure there are no races coming, and avoid the pump house shallows, or you can proceed south along the Shrewsbury shore outside of the buoy line. The main difference between race day and practice day, for those of you launching out of the DRC, is that on race day, you may not go further than the 1,500 meter mark. You will turn before that and make your way across when no boats are coming. Make sure there are no races on the course. And then you will join the rest of the traffic pattern heading north outside the course. After the pump house shallows, all crews will once again enter the warm-up cove through the small span on the Worcester shore. Same as practice day, same span you're entering. The difference is there are 3 large buoys set up there, and you'll be warming up in a clockwise pattern up in that cove this time. So once you enter the start cove, you will see, once again, 3 large white buoys. The traffic pattern is clockwise, and we ask you absolutely no pressure pieces when you enter the cove underneath the bridge. There were a couple crews we saw last couple weekends that were actually doing power pieces through the bridge. Please, no power pieces going through that bridge. Please keep your head on the swivel up in this cove. It can get very tight. Please note the red shaded area in the back. Do not enter the back of the cove. There will be several marshals up there. But please, it gets shallow and you can get out of earshot of the officials. We ask you, please do not disappear into the back of the cove. The marshals will gather you before your race is called and have you line up in numeric order. When your race is called by the starter, you will enter the course between the Shrewsbury shore and the eastmost pier of the bridge. At no point do you go between the stake boats. After you get past the pier, you will turn your boat to starboard, row to your lane, and then turn and back down into the stake boat. This procedure will differ depending on what kind of wind we're looking at. So please be aware of the situation. Do not row far beyond the starting area and attempt to back down. Nobody wants to back down for 100 meters before the race. It won't be pleasant for anyone. I'm just going to show another view here of the 290 bridge. This is as if you were stationed in between those 3 large white buoys. You can see off to the right is your Worcester shore. That first span is where you're going to enter the practice area. The large span where you can see the stake boats is where you start and where the racing span. And the area off to the left, it's kind of cut off, but there's the shore that comes into the water right there. Between that shore and the pier is your entrance to the start. Please note there is a derelict speedboat on the Shrewsbury shore where you enter the course off to the left. It is not in the travel way. However, if too many boats bunch up under the bridge, it could become an issue. One at a time through the span when you enter the start. Now I would actually like to introduce Laura Kunkemuller, the Commissioner of the Intercollegiate Rowing Association, to discuss the stake boat, not really the stake boat process, but what's expected of crews up in the start area and in the stake boats. Laura?
Thank you, Thad. I wanted to reinforce that this is a championship, and one of the skills that we are expecting of every boat that comes into race is that they are able to back onto a stake boat, lock on safely, and maintain a race ready point. It's absolutely critical. We found last weekend that we had to pull several crews off and have them not race because they were not able to do that. And while we would like everybody to get a race, it then becomes a fairness issue for the boats who have been able to get on and are continuing to try and scull it around. I'm not going to go through the process here. What I ask of you, Coxswains, is if you are not confident in your ability to do that, and that's in my mind, a step above just knowing that you can. If you're not confident about it, please talk to your coach about it. You've got a couple of days to practice. And if you'd like to see some resources, some videos, we have that on the IRA website, which is irarowing.com. It's on the links are on the left side under the Coxswain FAQs. So please make sure that when you're up there, you understand how to move your boat, whether it's a tailwind or a headwind or a crosswind. We are relying on you to do that. We will keep you safe, but we need you to make sure that you are pointed in the right direction and ready to race.
Great. Thank you, Laura. And now to continue going over the stake boat procedure and refereeing points, I would like to introduce the chief referee, Lissa Bain. Lissa?
Hello, my name's Lissa Bain. My pronouns are she, her, and I'll be your chief referee this weekend. We have a great group of referees who are ready, and we're going to make sure that we're all on the same page. I'll be relying heavily on information that's available on the website that Laura mentioned, the www.irarowing.com. /NARC and the U.S. Rowing Rules of Rowing, which are available digitally free online. So at the start, as Thad was saying, you'll be invited onto the course from lowest to highest. We will not be waiting for people who are not present, so please be in queue on time. If we do happen to change the lanes due to fairness, you'll keep the same bound number and the starter will inform you of that. It is always a great tip to listen to the starter, so please be prepared to do that. As Laura was saying, our expectation is that you'll be locked onto your stake boat and ready to race at 2 minutes prior to your posted race time. You'll maintain your point by sculling or pinching. We want to avoid people pulling themselves off of their stake boat and delaying the race. So please, practice if you need to. If you're coming to practice on Saturday, take some time when you're in the lanes practicing to see how your boat moves as you point it different ways so that you're prepared for any kind of wind or changing wind. And also be aware that we are not recognizing hands at the start. Our expectation is that people will make the changes that they need to make and be prepared for when the starter says attention to have a race ready, safe point. We are planning to do a standard or pulled start where the starter will name each crew, say attention, raise a red flag, and then say go while lowering the flag. If the conditions do not allow for that, we will change to a quick start. You'll be told that by the starter. We'll tell you that it's going to be a quick start, which is quick start, attention, red flag goes up, go, and then red flag and go at the same time as it goes down. You can go on the flag. There may be a red flag with a white cross instead of a full red flag, but look for that flag from the starter. When you leave the start, you have accepted the start. That means that you do not row 2,000 meters and say, I wasn't really aligned or ready. If you leave the start area, you have accepted the start as fair. For breakage, that's the first 100 meters. You will know when you have cleared the first 100 meters because the buoys will change color. If you experience breakage, it is your responsibility to check it down, stop your boat, and raise your hand to alert the nearest official. That person will come over, assess the situation, and stop the race if needed. For other crews in the race, if you see an official waving a red flag and sounding a siren, please stop. So that everyone's on the same page, our definition of breakage for this race includes actual broken or damaged equipment, including that was caused by a crab, over the head crabs, and ejector crabs. Breakage does not include jumped slides, jammed tracks, or an oarlock that wasn't appropriately closed before the start of the race. And then if there is breakage, just wait, the referees will tell you what the next steps are. At the end of the race, we'd like everyone to wait after crossing the finish line, sitting upright. If there's a medical emergency, please flag someone over immediately. If we see someone laying down, our first instinct as officials is that there's someone who cannot physically sit up, and we'll be concerned that there's a medical emergency. So please remain seated and upright. For coxswains who are carrying weight, please be prepared to show your weight. If it's a small amount, you may lift it up. If it's an amount that is larger or you don't feel comfortable lifting, the official will come over and check it for you. If you have an objection, meaning that you do not believe your race was fair, please raise your hand and call the official over. They'll come to you and go through the process. If you do have an objection in which you believe that your race wasn't fair and your potential to advance, place, move forward was impacted, you're going to want to be able to explain what happened, how this impacted you, and the relief that you are seeking. If you have a little time before the races, I would recommend looking in this book for some recommendations for things that you can ask for ways that you can seek relief. The ref will communicate their decision to you on the water. You may accept that or say that no. And then if you decide that relief doesn't feel fair to you, it doesn't work for you, you are welcome to continue the process on land. And if that's the case, you'll communicate with your head coach, who within 1 hour of landing will submit a formal protest to me in writing that will include a description of what happened, what rules of rowing were not upheld, and the relief that you are seeking. I will be around on Saturday, primarily at Regatta Point. I'll also mostly be at Regatta Point during the weekend, so if you need to find me, if I'm not there, they'll know where to find me. So please come if you have any questions on any of this. Feel free to come ask. And I believe that we have a really great group of coaches, competitors, volunteers, and officials. And I'm looking forward to sharing respect and sportsmanship this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Lissa. And before I move on from this slide, for those of you, I didn't realize I had a good picture of it. When I speak about the derelict speedboat, you can actually see it. It's all the way on the left of this picture. It is off on the Shrewsbury shore. I assure you it won't be in the travel way, but please do not bunch up. Okay. After the race has been made official, as Alyssa said, you will spin to your starboard side and proceed quickly out of the finish area. You will land at the same docks that you launched from. Listen to the dock masters for any instruction. Boats going back to DRC will row up past the pump house, proceed directly across the course once again when there are no boats on the line waiting for the start, and the row south along Shrewsbury shore to land at the DRC. If you happen to medal in your grand final event, you will be directed to the awards dock. You can see it shown by the little purple squiggly line here. You will be called in reversed order, bronze, silver, gold. Please wait until you hear an official announce or direct you over. While you are waiting, please be aware of the shallows marked in the little yellow polygon around the finish tower. The last thing you want to do after you win gold is to rip your skeg off going to the awards dock. Do not sit on the finish line while you wait to be called in for awards either. And once again, at no point continue south past the Route 9 bridge as depicted on the map. In the event of an emergency, we have many different safety officials on the water between the rowing officials, police, fire, EMS, and environmental police. If at any point you have anyone in the boat, this is just to echo what Lissa said previous, if you have anyone in the boat is having a medical issue, please stop and get the attention of the closest safety launch. Don't just keep rowing. Stop, wave your hands in the air, get somebody's attention. There'll be plenty of people out there to assist. If there's a weather emergency, mainly thunderstorms is what we're talking about, the same mentioned safety officials will make an announcement. If there is an event where we have to evacuate the lake, any crews south of the 1,000-meter mark will return to Regatta Point, and anyone north of the 1,000-meter mark will row and land at the Donahue Rowing Center. So once again, if you're at the finish line all the way up to the 1,000-meter mark, and they call an emergency to evacuate the course, you're going to row to Regatta Point. If you are from the 1,000-meter mark all the way up into the starting cove, you will row to the DRC. And per usual, please no public urination. Porta potties are provided throughout Regatta Point. Anything brought on the water by a crew also must come off with the crew. No handing anything to stake boat holders. These are two staples we always have to repeat at every CNC. And with that, that pretty much wraps up our presentation for tonight. Please, once again, submit all questions by the Q&A feature found on your screen. Just a reminder, recordings of this meeting will be on the Quinsigamond Rowing Association YouTube page. A link will be posted on Regatta Central as well. Weather looks good, and I'm going to pass it off as we wait for the the questions to come in to Laura. Laura?
Thanks, Thad. I have a couple of things that I want to mention for coaches. The first is, I think most of you are on the NIRC coaches WhatsApp group, but if you're not, then I would strongly recommend that you join that, because we'll be able to put out information, including things like if we had a schedule change, or this past weekend, we ended up canceling some races and we're not able to get the word out to you as efficiently as we would have liked. So for the NIRC, many of you, as I said, are already on it, but if you are not, please join. And then my second thing is that I've received poll responses from just under 40% of you. So thank you to everybody who's done that already. For the additional 60% of you, I need your polling information, because we cannot do the lane assignments until we've compiled all of that and worked it through the system. So please get me that as quickly as you can. The stated deadline was noon tomorrow. So thank you for getting that into me.
Great. Okay, let's check the questions. We have first question. Regatta packet says Regatta Point trailer parking will be open at 8. Is that no longer the case? We do realize there's a slight discrepancy there. The arrival info packet that went out says 9, and the online packet does say 8. We are just going to double check that, and we'll get you that answer tomorrow morning through the WhatsApp app. Give you a solid answer. Do places 1 through 3 go to the awards dock, or only the first place winners? Weather allowing and time allowing, we will bring places 1 through 3 to the awards dock. If for whatever reason we end up with some different schedule or shortened times, then we might be forced to just bring first place. But our full intention is to bring places 1 through 3 to the awards dock. And that's all of the questions I have. I don't know if anybody else, Laura, Alyssa, or Patrick, you wanted to mention anything, or? Okay. Weather looks good for Sunday, as you can see on the little graph there. And once again, a recording of this meeting will be on the YouTube channel, and a link will be posted on Regatta Central. I thank you all for attending, and we will see you this weekend. Thank you, everyone.